a genetic component to the way we age, and there's a lifestyle component as well. And, I've seen numbers anywhere between 40 to 60% is genetics, and the other anywhere, again, you've got 50 to 60% is lifestyle. It's a scale. In terms of the difference between maximum lifespan, average lifespan, and health span, they're all interesting. And maximum lifespan refers to the oldest age you can live to be. And we know, at least for humans, they can live to be around 121, right? That's I think the oldest recorded, lifespan for a human. We know that the median or the average lifespan differs from country to country. And that could be a combination of different genetic makeups, different ethnicities. There's different single nucleotide polymorphisms that are common within a certain ethnicity. And there's also different lifestyles and cultures and, many different factors within different, regions of the world as well. But we know in the United States, our average lifespan for a female is around 82 to 83. And for a male, I think it's something like 4 to 5 years shorter than that in the United States. In Japan, for example, the average lifespan is about 5 years. Life expectancy is about 5 years longer than in the United States. And there was a really interesting paper from Dr. Bill Harris, who's one of the amazing. He is just a rock star in the omega-3 fatty acid field. He's been studying it for decades and decades. I mean, he was like, right after the Dyersburg, one of the famous papers that came out looking at the Inuit population, the Eskimo Inuits, and how they have like very little heart disease. Well, he did this study looking at what's called the omega-3 index, which is a biomarker of both the marine omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, in red blood cells. And the reason he does it in red blood cells is because it's a long-term omega-3 biomarker versus, I would say, the majority of any type of omega-3 test that you were going to do or ask your doctor, your healthcare, professional to run for you, it would be plasma phospholipids. And that's a very short, it very much reflects your what I ate last night or what I ate 2 days ago kind of thing. Whereas red blood cells, you're talking about the last 28 days. And so it's a much more accurate biomarker of someone's omega-3 status. So the omega-3 index, which Dr. Harris, he found that in the United States, people that had an omega-3 index of about 4% had the lowest average lifespan versus people in the United States that haven't had their omega-3 index about 8%. They had a 5-year increase in life expectancy compared to the group with the low omega-3 index. And what's interesting is that in Japan, so in the United States, the average omega-3 index is about 4%, 5%. So people don't eat enough. They're not getting enough of the omega-3 fatty acids, and particularly the ones from fish. And in Japan, where they eat a lot of seafood, they have an omega-3 index it's the average of around 10%. And again, their life expectancy is 5 years higher than, in the United States. So there are obviously factors in our lifestyle that affect the way we age, that affect disease risk, and certainly health span, which, as Dr. Fahey referred to, really is talking about extending the youthful part of your life, keeping you disease free when you're older, not necessarily making you live, longer, just improving the quality of your life because you're not going to get Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's disease or have type 2 diabetes earlier in your life, which really decreases the quality of your life. I think the quality of your life there's just no doubt. There's no doubt that lifestyle plays a huge role in that. Now, whether or not you're going to make yourself live, to be, 100 years old based on your lifestyle factors, I'm not sure. I think there's also a large genetic component as well in that. And I think that identifying biomarkers that can, obviously empirically be measured are key for looking at health span. And I think there's a variety of biomarkers that are now coming out that are being vetted as that. And I honestly think the omega-3 index is one. I do. I think it's one of the important ones. And it certainly reflects lifestyle, diet. But there's others. I mean, there's inflammatory biomarkers, and you can measure stress-related ones as well. And certainly, things that are stress-related also affect inflammation. And so there's a lot of crosstalk there as well. But there was a study that came out of Japan. This was in 2015, where there was a variety of different age groups. There was elderly people that were in their 80s. There were the centenarians that were 100. There were the semi-super centenarians that were about 105, and then there were super centenarians that are 110. And there was a panel of biomarkers measured. We're talking like 12 to 18. And, we're everything from HbA1c, which is a long-term marker of blood glucose levels. You're measuring, the standard lipid panels, looking at LDL and just all the normal stuff, liver enzymes, things like that you would do in just your routine physical. But they were also looking at a variety of inflammatory biomarkers. They were looking at telomere length. They were looking at immunosenescence, which refers to your immune cells not being able to be functional, although they're still there, they're just not really functional. So there's a variety of things that were looked at, and the only thing that was actually consistent for a person to advance to the next stage, centenarian, semi-super centenarian, and super centenarian, was the suppression of inflammation. And so lower inflammatory biomarkers, and they did a whole panel, not just high sensitivity C-reactive protein, which is like, I would say, a common one that's used in clinical practice, but it's not the only one. I think there's a panel of them if you're trying to be comprehensive that were looked at. So I thought that was very interesting because, you often think of like, well, telomere length, and that wasn't actually important to advance to each stage. In terms of what can be done with diet and lifestyle to improve biomarkers, to improve, what we think might improve health span. And I think that there's a lot of research that suggests that there are things that can be done and they can be measured. And but we also have people that are, following it, and they're, so they have, you have people that are also really interested in preventative, healthcare and in optimizing their diet and their lifestyle based on science. And so they're trying to learn themselves, and they also communicate with their physicians and work together. And so I think there's a variety of different ways that people are trying to improve their lives and the lives of their family members and friends.